Before I start the review, I just want to say this is still a small channel, it's only been a few months, and sometimes it feels like nobody knows I'm here. Nobody Knows I'm Here stars Jorge Garcia as Memo, a man from Miami who moves in with his uncle in a small town in Chile. He doesn't speak much, he keeps to himself, and just wants to be left alone. Though that changes when he meets a woman named Marta. They form a friendship, which brings Memo out of his shell, but it also forces him to confront the demons of his past. I am very glad to see Jorge Garcia in a lead role in a film. This is way long overdue. I absolutely loved him in Lost. He was one of my favorite characters from that show, and he was so popular his character even had a Weezer album named after him. Great album, by the way. But outside of random guest appearances on shows or small roles in other films, we haven't seen much of him. So, needless to say, I was very excited to hear of a new movie in which he had a prominent role, especially something that would really allow him to show off his acting chops. And I gotta say, he did a fantastic job here. I was not disappointed by his performance. For those who knew him from Lost, that role is totally the opposite of what we see here. Whereas in that show, he's known for being talkative, funny, and charismatic, and we see tiny bits of the latter two here. In this movie, he plays a character that requires him to speak very little. His dialogue is kept to a bare minimum. He's mostly by himself, and he doesn't really like to be around people. Even when he is, he doesn't say much, and he's pretty soft-spoken. About 75% of this performance revolves around him conveying emotion through facial expressions. He never stops to explain how he's feeling to someone, nor does he ever go into some long-winded monologue. He's a man with deep-seated trauma, and a lot of the movie is him just processing his new surroundings, and relating what he sees or how he's currently feeling to his childhood. And I'm glad the decision was made to not have his character do too much talking. Too often, films will stop dead in their tracks to explain every little detail to you in a forced matter of speaking. But this movie lets us see for ourselves how Memo's truly feeling, and it makes the scenes feel more natural and believable. And I really felt for the guy. Garcia sells it here, and this is easily one of his best performances, probably since Lost. The film flashes back repeatedly between Memo as an adult and him as a kid, and we see his past explored. It turns out he was a childhood singer, and he had a great voice. He wanted to be a star, but the producer who worked with him said that his appearance wouldn't allow him to become famous. So they hire another child to lip sync to Memo's music. And we explore just how Memo dealt with this both as a child and how it still affects him as an adult. I think that those childhood scenes were absolutely powerful. It gives us an inside look at what troubles early childhood fame, or even just a taste of it, may bring. You read a lot about how former child stars can carry a lot of demons, some that affect them for the rest of their lives, and there's a spot-on portrayal of that here. Seeing Memo recollect a memory when he comes into contact with something from his past was some truly powerful storytelling. This is also shot beautifully. Gaspar Antillo, who directed this is his first film, and this is an impressive debut. There are a lot of great shots here. There are especially some beautiful wide shots as Memo is working with his uncle, and they're in the countryside, or they're out by the coast, and it was all truly wonderful. There's also use of a lot of red, mainly to signify elements of Memo's trauma. There will be times where an object may have a reddish tint, or he'll walk into a room and there's like a red glow. And it gives off a horror vibe at times, especially since everything surrounding the red will be dark. And it would be a big signifier that Memo was having a truly traumatic episode. And those moments worked really well. I was able to really feel the pain this guy was experiencing. All that being said though, there are some major issues that hold this movie back from being great. One big thing is, even though this movie revolves around dealing with deep-seated trauma, and I understand its heavy subject matter, I gotta say, at the same time, this movie is extremely depressing. Like, this movie does nothing but beat you down into continuously feeling sad. Rarely does it feel like there's any sort of hope. Since Memo likes to be isolated, you don't see him actively go out of his way to improve his life, other than just wanting to be alone. And the thing is, with any sort of movie, no matter the subject matter, you need to find a balance so that it's eliciting different emotions. Comedies, for example, still need moments where you can take the characters seriously, while movies that are serious altogether need to show characters that are making active strides to resolve a conflict. In this case, sadness is all you feel. Memo just wants to be left alone and doesn't have any sort of goals other than to just be left alone, at least for a good part of the movie. Maybe not the whole thing, but at least half, maybe more. So because of that, that leads to my next problem, which it can feel feel pretty slow at times. Since there's not exactly an active goal that Memo is working towards, and all we're doing is just trying to find out more about his childhood, things can feel dragged out. It's an hour and 40 minutes long, and honestly, it feels like 2 hours. There are a lot of scenes of just him being in isolation and him feeling really sad, and in turn it makes you feel bummed out. And as a result, it doesn't always feel like an engaging experience. We do get some sweet moments between Memo and Marta as they try to get to know each other, but she doesn't always feel like she's a strong presence in this movie. It grows as the movie goes on. I honestly would like to have seen more of these nice moments between the two. At times they feel too few and far in between, and we only get more of them towards the end. The movie isn't ultimately ruined for me because of this, but yeah, it's pretty depressing. Overall, this wasn't bad. There are a lot of things that are admirable here. Jorge Garcia gives one of his best performances, and this film beautifully explores the pains of childhood stardom and the trauma it may bring to adulthood. And it's supported by some wonderful direction from Gaspar Antillo, which makes for a solid debut. That being said, it's a really somber experience with some sluggish pacing. It's not a hopeful movie by any means, and it can really wear you down with its depressing tone. Some of you may not mind it, but I can see others being turned off by it. Me, I liked it. I just wouldn't say I loved it. But it's on Netflix and worth giving a shot. Nobody Knows I'm Here gets a 6.5 out of 10. So let me know, did you see Nobody Knows I'm Here, or are you planning to see it, and what were your thoughts? Did you not mind the tone? Did you like Jorge Garcia's performance? And would you like to see him take on more lead roles in movies? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, please like it and share it, and for more movie reviews and film discussion, please make sure to hit that subscribe button to stay updated. Thanks for watching, everyone. I'll catch you next time.